Eds. It is a little early. I'm with you, Carissa, like, and Susan too. Like we all got our coffee. I told her, I said, dress cute and casual. I said, my office is cold, and if I turn on my little space,
I sit here.
Hear it. And I thought, okay, I'm going with sweatshirt. It's still raining. Like, I think we're gonna flood. I don't know. But we'll take the rain. It's all good. So we're just happy you girls woke up and you made it in time. Whether you have a face on or not, Jana, we're all here for a reason, and we are to be blessed this morning by my Mary Kay sister, my big sister, Susan McCoy. Of course, I know most of you probably know her, Carissa. If you've been around Mary Kay a minute, you probably know the name Susan McCoy. If you were at Fall Advance, you know Susan McCoy. Susan and I started almost 30 years ago. She joined in June and I joined in July. So we're a month apart, but our journeys have been very different. We went off to our first seminar and she was there like find her way in the world and what was God calling her to do. And I was going on a date because my customer sent me her son who was in the service down in Killeen, Texas. So I'm like, 20 and bebopping down the seminar to go on a date, and Susan's off to find her life and what she was supposed to do. And our paths have been very different, yet similar. And we're just blessed to be friends. We're blessed to do life together. She's done Million. They're finishing their national area by 6/23/23. She has amazing leaders. She is a woman of her word. She is such a wise mentor, Christian woman, believer, just a heart of gold. So to have her on your side is amazing. She's one of those girls who will speak truth and light into you in a really loving way. She is my good kick when I need it, and I love that. So I can't wait for you guys. I just told her this morning, I said, whatever's on your heart, I said, these are our red jackets, these are our future leaders. We just want to hear whatever she has on her heart, nothing specific. So I'm gonna let my sister take it away.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love every single person on here. Clarissa, I don't know you yet, but I know I'll love you. I want to just congratulate you all for being here and for being a part of such amazing units and leadership. Oh my gosh, Nicole, Jana, Susan, sales directors, and then Gentry and Clarissa, you guys, I feel like we just came off of an amazing Rocktober, and I love the company's Govember. I think it's so amazing. And it always makes me, and just our company is so giving, and we are so grateful that we had double credit, because I think that always kind of increases our activity and our belief and all of that, which is kind of what I'm going to talk about today. So I have been building my business for 30 years. I have learned so many lessons along the way, and you guys, really the only difference between where you are and where you want to be is really the 6 inches in your head, and so we're going to talk about that today. One of my very favorite quotes from Mary Kay was, whatever you vividly imagine and ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And I first heard this quote from Mary Kay, gosh, I don't even know when, long, long ago. And I always loved it. It always had such a great flow, and it just made such great sense. And then I was reading a book years ago, and he actually drew it in a picture. And so I want you to take a sheet of paper and a pen, and I want you to make a big circle, okay? And at 9 o'clock on the circle, I want you to put the letter D, as in desire. At 12 o'clock, I want you to put the word B for belief. At 3 o'clock, I want you to put the word A for action. And at 6 o'clock, I want you to put the letter R for result. And listen to this as I read it, and start with the letter D. Mary Kay said, whatever you vividly imagine and ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. Is that not the perfect picture of DBAR? So we're going to talk about this cycle and what it looks like, and what stops us and what starts us. So desire is like what you really want, right? And she said, vividly imagine it. We're going to come back to that, but vividly imagining it, and ardently, like you really, 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 you really want it, okay? And so I want to ask you right there to write underneath the word desire, what is the one thing that you really, really, really want right now? And I'm talking about in Mary Kay. You can do this for anything, okay? And we'll talk about that in a minute too. But I want you to get clear on what is it that you really want. Is it that you want to be a director? Is it that you want the car? Is it that you want a certain amount of money in your savings account? Is it that you want to have a, I don't know, diamond ring? I mean, you know, and I'm naming things that are in Mary Kay that we go after: court of sales, court of sharing, the bee, the necklace, all, you know, whatever it might be. Those things, I think sometimes we feel funny saying, I'm earning a diamond ring, but the diamond ring represents a lot. It's the recognition of it, but then the diamond ring also represents that you made $20,000 in profit, right? So you have to know, is it the $20,000 profit that I get more excited about, or is it the diamond ring? Because whichever one, there's no right answer. It's whatever gets you excited, you know. And you may be thinking, I can't see 40,000. I mean, there was a time where I was like, I can't sell $40,000 worth in a year, you know, but then I sold 20,000 and I thought, well, how much further away is that? You know, what would that look like? And sometimes it's breaking it down. Okay, so you've got what you really want, all right? And then we've got to figure out the belief part, because to me, this desire and this action, it's like right here, desire and action, and it's in the middle here is the belief part. It's the 6 inches. And so I love this quote from Mary Kay because it goes right into what I'm going to talk about, which is vividly imagining it. Okay, because you can build belief through affirmations. Affirmations is like saying something in the positive present tense, like it's happened. Affirmation is a question with the same statement. So like you could say, I am a $1 million sales director. That would be an affirmation. Okay. Affirmation is, why is it that I'm a $1 million sales director? Okay. And the difference is there is that if you state it as a sentence, but then your head says, no, you're not. Then you want to ask it as a question. Why is it that I'm a $1 million sales director? Oh, it's because my unit size is 300. Oh, and you start to act in that way. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about visualization, because in the reading I've been doing, visualizing something is actually 3 times stronger than affirming something out loud. And so in this book I've been reading called The Breakthrough Code, he talks about seeing it, feeling it, believing it, and letting it go. And so when I reread this quote from Mary Kay, and she said, whatever you vividly imagine, I thought she was talking about visualization right there. And what happens is in the book, I can't think of the author right now, but it's downstairs. In the book, The Breakthrough Code, he talks about basically vividly imagining it, like literally close your eyes and imagine the piece of that goal that gets you the most excited. So let's just say, I know Nicole's is probably to go on the top sales director trip. So when Nicole closes her eyes, she can either think about crossing the stage with that green sash, or she can imagine her and Travis at the airport with Jeff and I, or she can imagine, you know, for me, when I was doing my first trip, I imagined I had in my head, I thought I'm going to wear a red dress when I do Circle of Excellence for the first time. And I'm going to have that green sash around, you know, coming off my shoulder. And one of the things I would vividly imagine is every time I came to a stoplight, I'd think green sash, red dress, green sash, red dress. And how many times do you come to a stoplight? And you guys, I bought the red dress and we missed the goal. So I didn't wear the dress that year. I saved it for the next year. And so it's little things like that. Okay. But in the book, he talks about vividly imagining it. So like picturing it in your mind and then finding the emotion with that picture of how's it going to feel. Like I'll take Nicole's goal, you know, how's it going to feel when your husband looks over at you and says, honey, I am so proud of you. Like that's going to overcome her with this emotion. So she's going to see it. She's going to feel it, right? See it, feel it, and that builds the belief in it. And then the last part of it in the book, The Breakthrough Code, he says, you just let it go and go about your day. And by let it go, not like let it go, you know, but like let it go to God to figure out all the middle pieces of how it's going to actually happen. Like Nicole shared, our unit goal, our area goal is to have 23 offspring sales directors by 6/23/23. So like I have over here on my wall, I have a picture that I made of 23, and it's like they're on stage. So there's 12 directors, and then there's 8, and then there's 3. And that's my picture. And that's what I think about. And in the book, he also talks about, you want to vividly imagine this, you want to feel it, you want to believe it, and you want to let it go at least twice a day. And so one of the things that I do, because you guys, this is one of those things like visualization, right? Does it really matter? It is like the only thing that matters. I mean, if you can't figure out a way to see it, feel it, believe it, and let it go twice a day, like, what are we doing, right? And so I have to connect it with something I'm already doing. Otherwise, it's just like, I forget about it. So what's something you do every morning and night? Brush your teeth. Yeah. So my toothbrush is a 2-minute timer. Okay. And you don't have to have a timer on your toothbrush, but it's really hard for me sometimes to actually brush my teeth for 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, a minute, that's long enough. But I'm like, nope, 2 minutes. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to brush my teeth and I'm going to visualize that stage with my directors. Because what I want more than anything for my directors and my up and coming directors and all of you, we want you to have our life, because it is so sweet to never have to have a boss, to constantly be able to write my own paycheck. Like, we paid college tuition. I wrote, well, you don't really write checks for college tuition anymore, but I pushed a button and sent all the money all at once in August for 2 kids going to college for the whole semester. That was a lot of cash. But you know what? That is part of my picture. Like, that is super motivating to me. So I know that the more women I have that are more successful and growing their businesses, you know, the more I can do that. And then when that's done, I can give away more, you know? So I don't know if that helps you or not, but that feeling that goes along with the visualization part is super important. Okay. The other thing that he talks about in the book is the word. Okay. So let me come back to the belief part. So you've got the desire, you know, what you really, 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 really want. You've got the belief, you're building that through your visualization. Isn't that crazy that that's 3 times stronger than affirmations? I thought that was crazy. It's actually visualization and feeling it and saying it in that order. So I call that 3 times stronger. I don't know if it really is, but you know, it's the first place one. So whatever you're believing to be true, you're going to act in a way to make it happen. Okay. So for instance, if your goal is the car, okay, you're visualizing your car pickup, you're visualizing the extra $5,000 a year in your bank account, because if you take cash, it's about $4,800 a year. Whatever it might be, whatever piece of the car excites you the most, you're visualizing that. Well, then you're going to start acting in a way that you would to earn the car. You're going to make sure you're holding 3 parties a week, that you are doing 3 sharing appointments a week, and that you're selling $300 in new sales each week. Okay, so your action is fueled by your belief, and therefore you're going to get the result you want. Now, the other interesting thing about the book is he talks about the word result instead of the word goal. And when I drew this out this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, there's the word result. That's what he says. He doesn't say desire, belief, action, goal. He says, what's your result? And so you're constantly imagining and vividly imagining that result as though it's happened. Okay. And it makes a huge difference. And so the subconscious mind is fueled all the time by pictures, and it's fueled best with pictures. And I love that, because this little tool of visualization, and you've got to be clear on it. If what you're visualizing isn't built with positive emotion, then change your visualization. You know, so if you're thinking, I want to earn the car, but the car isn't visualizing, because you're thinking, I'm not taking the car, I'm taking cash, then change it to, what would you do with the extra $425 cash a month? You know, what does that look like? So I think as we come kind of full circle here, thinking in terms of Mary Kay, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. So I would love to hear what you guys are vividly imagining. You know, what is it? Gentry, what is it for you? Oops, I can't hear you.
I know, I had to try to find my mute button.
Yeah.
That's hard, like, because I don't really have anything vividly that I'm imagining. I'm not, like, I have goals. I want to grow. Court of Sharing is like been on my heart, kind of crazy heavy. But I don't have a result attached to that. You know what I mean? Like I need to work on that. I need to get a more vivid picture. And I think that would help me when I'm tired and I don't want to work.
Yeah.
But having that, and I love the idea of having the emotion attached to it. And I don't think about that. I just think about it being done and move on. And yeah, so.
Well, you can do a little exercise. And I've been there before too, where I wasn't really clear on what I wanted, or I was saying I wanted this, but I really wanted that, and I think sometimes in Mary Kay, we do that. Like maybe we don't want the next step, or maybe we don't know what the next step looks like. And so there's this exercise that you can do where you think about the B. And this might even help you to figure out if it really is the B. And you basically go and ask yourself, and you can do this with a partner, like with Nicole, or you can do this just on your own in a journal. But you ask yourself, so the B represents 24 team members that are qualified on your team. And so you ask yourself, why is that important to me? And then you ask yourself again, why is that important to me? And you ask yourself again, why is that important to me? And you'll get to an emotion where you literally get teary and you'll know you hit it, So, and it changes, because like when I became a new director, my goal was to quit teaching. And I didn't really know why. I just knew I didn't want to keep teaching. My why wasn't really strong. I just knew I didn't want to stay as a teacher. And I knew that would be a way to leave teaching if I had a backup plan, right? So I became a director, and the very next month we found out we were having twins. And so my why got very clear. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to make enough money to make sure I can quit teaching and that I can be at home with these two. And you guys, that was 27 years ago. And as they were going into kindergarten, then who knows, maybe subconsciously, that's why I got pregnant again. I don't know. No, we have 4. And so the twins are 26. And then our next down is 20. And then we have a surprise. It was 19. And so, I do think, and right now, like, our kids are all independent and they live on their own, or 2 are in college, they're, at school. But I've had to kind of reestablish what is important to me right now. And of course, it's very important for me to make sure they have no college debt. My one son is getting married, so that's another chunk of money. Our house is paid off. All of that kind of stuff is done. So I have had to figure out, so what does that look like next? And it's, part of it is my husband bought a business. And so that did create some debt, but it's positive debt. It's like inventory, right? You got to have it to be able to make money. But it's been amazing to be able to. And so Gentry, I think we kind of come back to that sometimes, like, what do I really want now? And why is that important to me? And if it's important to you and you can figure out the emotion behind it, then you will work towards the action that it takes to get there. I don't know if that helps or not. Okay. Nicole, how about you?
Well, obviously the trip. But for me, my one thing right now, every month is just to medal. I've not done the B. And I know how many times you're like, if I hadn't done the B, we wouldn't have done this trip. We wouldn't have hit this goal. So I thought, looking back, if I had done the B last year, we would have finished $500,000. Yeah. You know what I mean? We were at 457. You know what I mean? So all those qualifieds, all those points, all that adds up. So I'm like, okay. So for me, it really is just the B represents a new unit within a unit. It represents, a healthier, I just want a big, fat, juicy, healthy unit. So
it makes a big difference.
Huh?
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm excited because Susan's a new offspring. So her and her 30, they took off. So, which is fantastic. And I love that. But now it's just re-energizing my unit and getting new friends to play with, people in my sandbox, like you talked about yesterday. I have new friends in my sandbox. So, yes.
I love that. Clarissa, is it Charissa or Clarissa?
It's Carissa.
Okay, good. Carissa. So do you know what you want?
So I kind of have so Jana is an amazing director. I've known Jana for like over 20 years. And my best girlfriend and I, who was on just a second ago and said hi to Jana, we were her baristas when we were in college. Okay. So we were her baristas, and I have like 2 college degrees. I have a partial master's doctorate. So I've occasionally dabbled in Mary Kay, and Jana's so awesome because she doesn't push. She just meets you where you're at. She walks life with you. And so now I'm 40, and I finally I've been killing myself working like 3 jobs for the last like 15 years trying to pay off college debt. But I'm a single mom, and I've been a single mom. And so I'm finally at a stage in my life where I told Jana, I said, I think I'm finally at a stage, I'm finally at a headspace where like I can actually do Mary Kay. So like I've been to a few random conferences here and there. And but I'm finally at a headspace where, I'm at a place in my faith, and I'm at a place in my church where it's like, I want to love on women. I want to love on people. And I think this will be my way to love on people and help them feel that they are valued. And like anymore, I mean, especially post-pandemic, I'm a nurse. And so I work in eyes. And so I see just like we are dealing with not only the staff, but also the patients are in terrible headspaces. And so I feel like Mary Kay is going to give me an avenue to be able to love on women and help them feel that self-care.
I love that. And it's so important. Yeah.
That's what I want. And like, as far as extra income, like I am, again, like I've been working my Dave Ramsey, my 7 baby steps. Like, I don't know if you guys know Dave Ramsey, but I've been working my 7 baby steps. And when you have as much college education as I do, you have a lot of debt. And, but as a single mom, 4 years ago, I was able to buy a house without a co-signer, like, just trying to get rid of my own debt. And so I'm excited to have Mary Kay, because I'm getting older. I'm 40. I can't push my body the way that I have for the last 15 years. I'm not 25 anymore. I have to keep telling myself that. And so I'm just my whole, like, I hope you ladies don't mind. I wrote down your names, and I may reach out to you throughout my journey. I know that some of you are like way up, but up the ladder. But I'm just excited because this will give me more freedom to love on people and do what I truly feel like I was called to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can tell you love to help people, and you're absolutely going to get to do that in this platform. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to spill over to everything else you do too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Susan, how about you?
Hey, I just want to say for Carissa, if I'm saying it right. So I love your story, and I know every girl on here is like, absolutely. If you need something, reach out and talk to us. So I cannot wait to see where you go. So, so mine is, so I don't know. This sounds kind of crazy, maybe, I don't know. But my next step is like, okay, I've reached directorship, like what's next? And so I'm thinking like, okay, car, I need to earn the car. And I've always, I got the Malibu put up everywhere. And so at Fall Advance, I really, I don't know, it really got to my heart, like, why the Malibu? Why am I setting the bar? Because really, in all honesty, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but one day, someday, I'm going to be a national sales director. And like, that's my big, humongous goal. I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I don't know when it's going to happen. So I think of baby steps, like, okay, Malibu. But then I'm thinking, why am I setting the bar here? Like, why not the pink Cadillac? Like, that's really what I want, is the pink Cadillac. So every time I get in my car, I just imagine it's pink. And I think to myself, like, I imagine my kids getting in it. And, like I've already started telling Tinley she will climb over the seats. And I don't know if you remember, Nicole, when we picked up your pink Cadillac, she used to standing in the seats. And I'm like, no, if we get the pink Cadillac, you cannot crawl over the seats. So just believing it and feeling it, kind of like what you were saying, and living it. I have no idea how we're going to get there. I don't know when it's going to happen, but yeah, that's my goal. Is like I said, it's Malibu, because I felt like, well, I can't do the pink Cadillac yet because I got to do this first. But I thought, I don't know if that's right.
You know what? I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think some people are rung people and some people can see more of like an elevator view, you know, and if you see the Cadillac and that evokes that emotion, then go with that. If you see the Cadillac and it makes you feel like, well, I got to earn the Malibu, you know, the Malibu's on the way, then go with, I mean, you gotta really just, I think a lot of the growth in Mary Kay comes from really knowing yourself, and it's okay. There's not a right or wrong. I mean, I know for me as a consultant, I had to earn, well, I had to, before I could see being a director, I had to be in a red jacket, and then I had to earn the car, and then I became a director. But as a director, I was like, I'm going to be a national sales director. I felt the same way, you know, so I think there's that too. So I think you're definitely on the right track. Way to go, girl. We're so proud of you debuting. It's so exciting to get to see you in your director suit and with all the big girls. Yay. And Gianna, how about you?
So my big girl dream is to become a national sales director. And I, right now, what stirs my heart, for some reason, well, the trip always stirs my heart, but I don't want to be a one-hit wonder for sure. I want to be a solid trip earning unit. And so my vision, my goal, and I love what you've given us so far. And by the way, the book is already on the way. I ordered that yesterday and should have ordered it way back at Fall. But anyway, I have a strong desire for us to have 150 in our unit by Christmas, and then 200 by the end of the year. And so looking at unit growth, and I know that through that and focusing on that, that is going to lead other women to their dreams, because I'm always very passionate about, you know, having other people find their vision. But, you know, I know that through that also that I'm going to have a personal team of 100, because
Absolutely.
that's, yeah, that's one of my things too. So,
well, and you know what, as you have a personal team of 100, I just did this exercise. Are we over time? Should we stop?
We're fine.
The clock, I was like, oh no, I'm sorry.
No, we can go as long as you want to go if anybody has to hop off.
Okay. Well, the last thing I'll say is one of my offspring asked me the other day, like what my personal team size was and how much production did they do. And, you know, it's a given pretty much across the board, whatever your unit size is, add 2 zeros, and that's what your base production is. So, you know, a unit size of 50, add 2 zeros, they're going to do 5,000 almost in their sleep. And so anyway, I looked it up because I thought, I wonder if my personal team, what did it, I wondered if that equated, and absolutely it did. My personal team is a little over 80. And my personal team did, I think, 8,600 in just my personal team. So as a director, you make 36% on your personal team. I mean, it's a lot of money. And so again, you have to know how you're wired. So I know what I want my personal team to do because I know that pays for these bills over here. You know, I mean, you kind of have to look at that. So I absolutely know you will be a national sales director. I know, Susan, you will be a national sales director. I know Nicole and Gentry will be national sales directors. And Carissa, there's a spot for you too. She's like, no. Well, just know this, you are going to influence women and you are going to grow your team, and you'll figure out along the way, you know, where you want to be. And Nicole, I know you and Jana both will be on the trip next year as well. I know that is your goal.
Amen.
Gentry, the B, girl, get the B. It's pretty sweet. And not to mention the paycheck that goes with it. So awesome. Well, you guys, that's kind of all I had. I don't know if you have any questions or anything, but I just thoroughly enjoyed this morning with you. And I wasn't sure what I was going to share. I just said, okay, God, what do these women need today? And that's what I have for you.
We love that.
I love it. Yes.
Thank you, Susan. You are
Absolutely,
amazing.
ladies.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
You betcha. And Carissa, you can reach out anytime.